Alright guys and girls, so today grade 8s, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about fractions and percentages. So our outcome that we have in our textbook states that students will be expected to demonstrate an understanding and solve problems involving percents greater than or equal to 0. So our learning goal in this case is I can convert fractions to percents. That's what we're focusing on. So we have a couple of questions. So here's 4 questions where what we're going to do is we're going to take this fraction or these fractions and then convert them to percents. One thing you have to know as a student is that a percent is just a fraction where the denominator, the bottom number, is 100. So in this case, instead of writing 2 over 5 or 2/5, what we could say is, well, 5 times 20 is 100. That's what we want. We want the denominator to be 100. So therefore, 2 times that same 20, because all we're doing is we're multiplying this whole ratio or this whole fraction by 20, so that 2/5 equals 40 over 100, which is like saying 40%. Okay? We're not done with just this fraction. We have to say that this is 40%. So that question is done. We take a look at the next question. We have 4 25ths. Well, we know that 25 times 4 is 100. Okay, so 25 times 4 is 100. 4 times 4 is 16, so therefore we get 16 100ths. Instead of 4 over 25, 16 100ths, and that is 16%. Okay, halfway there, Bon Jovi. So we got 6/50ths. Okay, so for 6/50ths, I'm writing with my finger, so that's why it's a little bit messy. Magic finger, not so good as a NeoPen or a stylus, but it is what it is. Well, I can take this whole ratio here and I can double it. Okay, so 6/50ths is the same as 12 100ths, which is 12%. Okay. Last question, 8 20ths. Well, 8 over 20. How many $20 bills are there in 100? So 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. So times 5. Times 5 to this as well. Okay, because it's a proportion. If we do something to the top, we have to do it to the bottom. So if we do it to the denominator, you have to do it to the numerator. So we're going to get 40 over 100. Which, again, is 40%. Let me just rewrite that. Like I said, my finger is probably not something you would write a test with, but ease things up. We'll go with it. So we have 40%. Now, the question you're obviously going to have is, well, what if we have numbers that don't necessarily simplify or multiply to get 100 in the denominator spot? Well, I'm going to forget about 7 over 20 because that does multiply to get 100. So if we have 7 over 48, one thing we will ask you to do first is to try and estimate. Well, 7 over 48 is really close to 7 over 50, so it might get you to think, oh, this is probably, if I were to estimate this, if I were to, let's say, round this to 50, probably going to get 14 over 100 or 14%. Now, in this case here, we have 7 over 48, a little bit away from 50, a couple of digits away from 50. So it's actually going to be a little bit more than 14%. But if we were to estimate, that's a perfect answer. Likewise, with 5 over 19, we just finished discussing that 20 times 5 was 100. So in this case here, if we were to multiply this out, we would probably get a number close to, or a little bit more than 25 over 100, okay, or if we were to estimate 25%. Now, let's say we have a number like 3/7. Ugh, that one's really tough. However, we know that we want it to equal a number over 100. So what we can actually do here in this case is we can go ahead and, because this is a proportion of what they call it, so 3/7 should equal n, we don't know what that number is, over 100. So what I can do is I can multiply by 100 on both sides, okay? And what I'm trying to do here is I'm going to try and cross out the 100 down below. So I had to multiply it to the number up top, okay, on both sides. So I'm only multiplying the 3 by 100 to get 300 over 7 is n. Okay, and then I can actually go ahead and I can use a calculator. So in this case here, I have 300 divided by 7. So that's 42.85. And you see behind the 5 there's a 7. So I can actually go ahead and say that this would be 42.86% was n. Okay, because that would be over 100. So therefore it would be 42.86.